Well, sir, welcome everybody to Box Chronicles. I'm your lovely, gorgeous host, along with another gorgeous host, Mr. Storm. Happy Toy Wednesday. How you doing?
Good toy evening to you, brother. How are you doing?
I'm great, sir. We want to keep this one really quick intro. We have a fantastic guest today, and if you're here, you know why. So we are just going to get into it, and I'll see you right after this. That's an interesting intro.
Yeah, brand new one for year two, brother. Year
Yeah,
two.
you. So I will leave this up to you to introduce our guest. This is I'm happy that he's here. Got to see him at one of the Joe shows. But please do the fabulous introduction for me.
Oh, I will definitely let you in. One of the premier toy makers, and I would say all the world now because he's international. Doing really great products. It's something that we believed in from day one, and are so happy to welcome Ramen Toys, Ace. And we'll get Ace clicked in right now. What's going on, Ace?
Hey guys, Alex and Chet, thank you for having me.
Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
thanks for being
Everything's good. Well, number one, it's about what? It's about 10 o'clock out there where you're at.
It is 10 a.m. on
Okay.
a Tuesday, 1st of August.
Okay.
We're in August. Yep.
Yeah. See, we're still in the last month, so we're still rolling it down, man. A couple of key things. Let's just start it off on number one. We know that you make great fine toys and great products, but a couple of key things that I had never really seen. The name Ramen Toys. Where'd you just come up with that idea for Ramen Toys?
Well, I actually had this idea of Ramen Toy back in 2014, 14,
Okay.
15, when I was doing, Caliber Wings, which is a brand for die-cast aircraft. I was thinking I want to do something that is, figural, the land of action figures, and Ramen Toy would be something nice because I had interaction with a Japanese brand called Tanmen back in the day. So Tanmen, Tanmen. And this guy actually is a creator, a sculptor that makes, very cute looking, super deformed Macross figures in Japan.
Okay.
And, he normally sells them at Wonder Festival, which is a one-day event, which I actually just attended and came back from. So Wonder Festival is a, biannual event in Japan, and it features sculptors, creators who will get a one-day license to make their own creations. So long story short, his branding was Tanmen. And then I was buying this Tanmen, SD, VF1 and all these things, resin kits. And I was asking my Japanese friend to ask him, what is this Tanmen brand? And he said, oh, it's just called soup noodles, right? Tanmen is soup noodles, right? So it's that's it. And then I was like, okay, wait a minute. But seriously, I do enjoy ramen in Japan. And I thought to myself, okay, if he has Tanmen, then I can have ramen. You know what I'm saying? And then I was actually I chanced upon another brand called Udon Toys, right? Udon. So it's like we love noodles. And then along the way, I sort of think that the ramen must mean something. So I went to make it into a anagram or something. Is it that is retro artistic modern 80s nostalgia. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we got some
acronym. Yeah.
Great. We got some people in the chat that just popped in and want to say a little hi and everything else like that. And of course, a couple of things. We got Mr. Jose Rodriguez that's popping in. And he's an item that we will not be mentioning on tonight's show. So, man, but thanks for the questions. We've got one of our channel members, which is technically he's one of our podcast members. Everything is Rad, Chris, and everything else like that. So says got us waiting in the waiting room like DMV. Oh no, man, you still be waiting if it was DMV, brother. We've got John Francisco. I think it's I hope I'm pronouncing your right name, brother. Bright. Waiting for the master. Well, you're not waiting for me in chat. You must be waiting for Ace and everything. Ace is here. We've got the Tech Master. Hello, Tech Master. How you doing tonight and everything? We've got one of our guys since day one that's been watching us. It's Meeks. You'll see Meeks' name pop up a bunch tonight, Ace. And from there, we've got the Shadow Man, the actual reason why the network is named for what it is. He's making a fine appearance, although you don't see him down there. He's a little mystical. And there's a gentleman, Jeff W., that's asking, hello, Alex, Chet, and Ace. I heard the bread card will be going up for pre-order soon. Ace, can you give me details? How many versions? Add-on packs, early bird prices, and can't wait to get my order in. Boy, he's really
Jeff doesn't want much. He just wants all of the details right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that at one point tonight. We've got Crooked Smiles Collectibles. Hey, what's going on, brother? Actually, Rad asked a question right quick. Ace, who designed the ramen logo?
Oh, my designer did when I was in Hong Kong. I had an office.
Okay.
Right, I had office there, and I had two designers. And I was telling the ladies there that I mean, she's a girl, and I want to make a ramen logo that has this ramen bowl, and that's it. Yeah, it was designed by her name is Jody, so she designed the ramen logo.
Well, thank you so much, because she did a great job on it, because we were just admiring every time I see you on live stream, man. You got your great hat on and all your merchandise, and it just looks great, man. So she actually knew what they did. Now, you said before Ramen Toys, what did you really kind of do?
Well, I arrived in let's take it all the way back to the year 2000 when I was in Wonder Festival, right? So I was basically doing insurance sales in Singapore. And that didn't really work out. And then I started selling my toys. So I had a accumulation of toys from as a kid, toys, models, resin kits, model kits, whatever have you. So I put them on eBay, started selling them, and then it was quite a good income. And then I went to Japan to get more supplies. Came back and I did flea market activities every Sunday in Singapore for a good a year. And after that, I opened a shop which I called Wonder Showcase with a partner from the year 2003 to 2005. But then again, business wasn't doing really good because during that time, the boom of the internet, eBay, all these things. So a lot of collectors in Singapore ended up being resellers, right? They were actually buying Hasbro, Transformers, and all these things from the wholesalers. Like they buy a case, they sell on the Yahoo auctions and all these things. They sell 4 pieces, and then the profit would cover the other 2, so they get the toys free in that sense. So that was something that was going on. Perhaps the entrepreneurial spirit of Singaporeans, right? So that was going on, and I was thinking to myself, if this goes on, we can't have a shop because who is buying from us, right? When everybody's selling on their own. That's when I uprooted and went to Hong Kong in 2005 of May through a friend in the US. So a friend that was also in the same liking for macros. So he introduced me to another guy who had a online e-commerce site that was selling toys, right? So I was there as a marketer. So I actually helped to select the toys for them. And then soon after, the company went into collaboration with Toynami. And that's when I met George Son. And the whole idea was to do a license 12-inch action figure of Robotech. And back then, during the mid-2000s, it was very popular for the RAH, Real Action Heroes, Medicom 12-inch figures. the
Mhm.
starting of Hot Toys, aliens figures and stuff like that. So we went into licensing, and the first thing that we did, of course, was the iRobot Bast, which
Mhm.
basically was my boss back then. He just got the Amazon exclusive 1:1 scale NS5 bus, shrunk it down to 1/2 scale, and then that's it. It's a product. Okay. And so we did that. We did Macross figures with Toynami as a
Mhm.
co-branding, and then came 2007 Transformers the movie, licensing opportunity. I was working on the novelty products that the company was making, like magnet heads, little figurines for keychains. So that was when I got into the actual production cycle and licensing cycle. And going to the factories was the first thing for me back in 2007.
Mhm.
And then later on, after that, we got the Dark Knight license to make Dark Knight products.
Okay.
And from then on, we also carried on the Transformers bandwagon and did the subsequent Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of
Okay.
the Moon. But as things go by, my
Mhm.
my company wasn't really doing very well, because you just can't be doing one license the whole year.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
management, whatever, and then it didn't do well, and then they stopped the business.
Mhm.
2014, I came out on my own and I started Caliber Toys, right? Which
Okay.
I started with the Age of Extinction product. So you can actually Google Caliber Toys Age of Extinction. You will see a range of my products. Again, very simple, like
Okay.
coin banks, keychains, stuff like that. But those
Okay.
are really just entry level into production.
Mhm.
But I really wanted to do aircraft, right? Because my love for modeling. So I was doing aircraft. I started Caliber Wings, which is a brand that makes die cast aircraft models.
Okay.
And but then again, that business wasn't very good, because the community, the customer base for such things is really, really, really small, really
Yeah.
small.
Okay.
Okay. And that's when I decided, okay, to make this happen, and with COVID, let's just start Ramen Toy. So in 2021, uh, we got some scalps of the 80s commanders, and that's when we started. Yeah.
Okay. Makes
So you,
sense.
so you said that like a while back, like you had to start selling off toys that you had. So have you always just had like a love for toys? Is that kind of what's driven you to that path? And was it hard to sell those toys?
Um, you know, when I was a little kid, I was fortunate enough that my memory was that every Saturday my mom would bring me down to Orchard Road, which is in Singapore. It's a place for shopping, and we will always get one He-Man figure. But
Okay.
again, it's not
Okay.
logical to count every Saturday, because if I did that, then I'll have lots of figures, right? But actually, not really. But I was fortunate enough to get these figures. I was able to get the He-Mans, the Mask, the Starcom, and all these things. So I don't know. I just love the essence of all these toys.
Mhm.
I would display them properly versus playing with them too much. And
Mhm.
but then again, I also had a love for aircraft models.
Okay.
So when I was in my teens and during the Gulf War, right,
Mhm.
the whole toy thing suddenly switched to the more mature, like plastic kits. You got to assemble it yourself. You got to paint it yourself, stuff like that. So I slowly moved away from action figures and stuff, keeping my memory of what I had in the 80s very
Mhm.
much. And then I actually did a lot of aircraft models in the most part of my teen, up till when I was 20 years old. It was only when I got into selling on my own that
Okay.
I started to mingle around with action figures again. Because when I was at the flea market, obviously you see action figures, right? But I
Sure.
was still
Yeah.
selling basically, model kits. My main business was doing the G kits, the garage kit, the recast stuff.
Okay.
It could be character figures, it could be like Evangelion, Pet Labor, Backcross. So I was more focused in the garage kit, do it yourself, spray
Yeah.
painting, modeling things. But
Of
again,
course.
like I said, the figures were there. I was seeing figures. I was seeing action figures, and then that slowly sort of gelled in, and it was always like I got to keep the balance of the force between models and figures, and I guess that's where I come into play. I try to incorporate the accuracy of models into our figures, and then we try to get a blend into it. Yeah.
Got it. And actually, that absolutely makes sense. We got Heroes and Villains collectibles. Just want to say what's up, Ace. Still waiting for the Must. Can't wait to see it. That was. I remember when you were on another show. Chet and I was watching, and we saw that. We thought, wow, that is 10 times better than what NECA was doing.
Anything as we think about, yeah, that was awesome.
You got some people popping over from your site too. Neon, this is want to say a huge thank you to Ace and the Ramen team for the Ramen Racer. I got the Ramen Racer as a surprise gift for my dad who's in his 80s. All right. Yeah, that's let me tell you something. That
the question would be, how does your dad have it set up?
yes, because I can tell you something. When we saw the whole Marvel scenario and that went out the way, and then you picked up what was falling from that with the Ramen Racer, I knew immediately. I said, "Oh, I'm buying this," because just the modular point where you can go through 3 vehicles, and I thought that was interesting. First thing I said, "Well, that's Blade's Charger, man. I got to have that and everything." So that was amazing. I think you can see Chet's in the back. It's set up as for our flame head. That's what we'll call them back there. So it is probably the thing that I noticed first about you was the Ramen Racer. With that said, what made you pick that up? Because obviously another company dropped the ball on it. So like, what was the thought of just picking that up and going with it?
Well, that is also, I think, destiny or something, because I had never actually looked at HasLabs before. I only knew that there was a Unicron, and that was it. I was never in fact, after knowing the Engine of Vengeance, did I go back and check, there was a Rancor, there is a this and that. So yeah, I was just browsing the YouTube as usual, and then I chanced upon the Engine of Vengeance, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then and then there was all these videos about how it's not worth the price, how it's worth the price, and all these things. So there was 2 factions, obviously, giving their point of view. But I was just watching, right? And I was just watching the HasLab page, and it went up to 7,000 backers, and then it dropped down to 5,000 backers. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it failed, it didn't reach 9,000. There were at one point 7,000 interested. Now there's 5,000. Now, could I just get 1,000 of those people, and I could just break even on our tooling? So I say, yeah, let's just do it. So I offered the chance to do this project, and there was obviously overwhelming support. And even today, there's still people asking, where did you get that? Oh, I didn't know that this is the thing. So you can see, right, that when we tried to market this product, many of the 5,000 people had not actually seen what we're doing. But that's fine, because we're a small company. We only have that much reach, and things takes time. Because even if we had suddenly got all 5,000 orders, which is not possible, because I believe in the law of large numbers, right? You're not going to get every single thing. So, so getting 1,000 plus is already a very it's a success in terms of what we set up to do. So yeah, the whole idea was, I saw all these things happening in front of me, and I knew that there were fans who really wanted it, and I knew I could make it. So I was just giving myself the chance to give people a chance to get what they want. Although not apples to apples, but again, it's not a knockoff. I don't like the word knockoff.
No,
I can't be knocking something off unless I have the thing itself to knock off, right? So it's like trying to give you something that you wanted but you didn't get as an alternative, a substitute. Yeah.
Well, the thing I can say is that the reason why it's not a knockoff is because you improved on that design. Because just with the floor mats, with the Ramen Racer on the bottom, or just the seats that go up and down, and I've written in the 69 Charger, And let me tell you something: the what you did and what you designed, it could be reduplicated in real life. It's right on there. So, like, yeah, if anybody says that's a knockoff, somebody's not paying attention because you improved on that design, man.
It's not. I'm curious what made you like what pushed you in the direction of making it so that you could pick basically like one of 3 cars, right? So
well, first of all, let's give credit to our sculptor Julian Cabada from Argentina, who actually sculpted the Ramen Racer.
Okay.
All right. So that is the first thing.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
So what happened is an evolution, right? Ramen is an evolution. It started with just me liking ramen, to call it Ramen Toy, to evolving into the word ramen actually means something. So we're all about evolution. We put out this Ramen Racer, supposedly just calling the Happy Halloween, because it was supposed to be a Halloween product. So there was no Ramen Racer name actually. It was a Happy Halloween, right? We'll give you a car with flames and then say Happy Halloween, right? And then we had people saying that, oh, but I don't want the flames. That's the reason why I didn't support the project, right? I don't want the flames. I just want a normal car. Okay, point taken, normal car. Okay, and then somebody said, hey, you can make this into a what's that? The General Lee.
Yes.
I was like, what is General Lee? I have no idea what the hell is General Lee, right? So I started Googling General Lee.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a similar looking car with different color. Okay, great. We got now a color option, amortize the mold, right? And then we have people saying, oh, we want something for Blade, Fast and Furious. Those are the kinds of cars that is okay. If you want that, let's do that, right? So that's how we evolved to make the Happy Halloween becoming the Ramen Racer with all the stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And then credit to Michael Canova, who came up with the name Ramen Racer. So
yeah, no, actually, I love the Ramen Racer name. It actually goes off the tongue. Who designed the packaging for the Ramen Racer?
Packaging is done by Gary G.
Okay.
The fabulous Gary G. Yep.
That is great packaging.
That is great packaging. Like I said, that's like almost artwork that you can put on the wall too. So you really duplicated that. And whoever packed the Ramen Racer, I have to say, did a fantastic job. You're doing better than Target and Walmart out here in the United States. I can tell you that, because mine came with no damage to it. I love the corners and everything. It was just, you could tell a lot of care was just taken into the packaging, man.
But he got a one-off because he doesn't have a windshield wiper. He's got 2 windshield wipers, but
it's just like my uncle used to have. Don't worry about it.
That's literally like a function that those cars came with. Was like, when you so. Number one, I think personally that the Ramen Racer is a hit, and I think that it's something that, like, I tell everyone that the Ramen Racer is really one of those things where if you're a collector, it's gonna, if not the centerpiece of your collection, it will become part of that collection, because you can change it from multiple designs. You can take the flames off, like we talked about. Is that something that you and we'll get into this in a few minutes about the tanks, but is that kind of, with the success of the Ramen Racer and the modularity of it, is that something that you think about going into like new projects? So either the armored tanks or the bread box, anything like that? Is that kind of how you're processing it?
Yeah, like I said, it's all evolution. We set out to do what we like to do and what the collectors like as well. So first and foremost, it must be a project that I like to do, right?
Okay.
If it's something that I have no knowledge and I don't think I can do it well, then I won't do it, because as Steve Jobs said, you can only do great work if you love what you do. Yep. So that's the essence of us making our products. If there's something, that's why there's so many suggestions, but I can't do everything, because first of all, there's no time. And second of all, I don't understand that product, that particular genre. So I need to understand it. I need to get myself immersed into it. That's why when I was watching all the videos about the Engine of Vengeance, I was immersed into it, right? I was looking at what it had.
Okay.
I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't replicate everything. For example, it had the seat that has a light. That's why you can have the flame light up,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it has a seat, but I couldn't do that because it would just not be in my whole design. That would be something that is too complicated from what I'm thinking, right?
Yes.
For all the stuff. Plus, it'll look weird if you have a non-flame car and you have that light in the seat.
Exactly.
So all things
Sure.
considered, we made the decisions then. So yeah, so with the success, so to speak, but not really success yet. We hope to sell more. Of course, we are always looking for the next project, and the next project will always be having what we have done in the past, what we could have done better, and let's put that into the new project. So for the Ramen Racer, it was a project that we worked forward, right? Forward in a sense that we started to add this, add that, change this, change that.
Got it.
We're going forward, and hence the price point was always going to be pushing up.
Yeah.
But for the braid car, for the armored vehicles, we work backwards, right? We said this is going to be the price, and then we're going to see what is going to comprise of the design and the manufacturing to reach that price. Because we've heard the customers, we've heard the collectors, okay, I don't want a $250 vehicle.
Yeah.
I want $100 vehicle. But sometimes there can only be so much you can do with a $100 vehicle. So
exactly.
So the braid car happened after Ramen Racer, and we try to hit that $100 price point.
Okay.
We provided the basic, or we're going to provide the basic braid car, which is in black or white, and that's going to be early bird at $99.99. But the usual price is usual price I think is about 112 something. Okay.
Okay.
Or 13 something. That's the usual price. It's always 30% off.
Got it.
We work backwards. We heard about wanting a 1/12 scale vehicle for less than 100 or 100. Okay, so we made that price. We worked backwards and got to the price point. That's why you don't have the lighting components on the brake car. You don't have the interchangeability to that sense. We only have some add-on parts.
Got it.
And then for the tanks, as much as we want it to be under 100, if we can get 20,000 pieces of orders, we can probably do it under 100. But we can't. We don't have this kind of numbers, right? So as you can even see on our website now, we're doing about 500 pieces for the Hunter, less than 200 for the Amphisbaena. So still got to go a long way for the black one. So it's all about the pricing. We try to get it to the best pricing possible. Sometimes we can't get it there, but we definitely want to make sure that the product in the end of the day is going to be quality. So for example, the tanks needed working tracks. The tanks needed individual suspension wheels. The tank needed to have a traversing 360. It has to have a little interior.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Rad has a good question. He asked, "What's the most requested vehicle fans want you to make?"
That's a good question.
There isn't a most requested. There is here and there. We have Mad Max. We have Back to the Future. We have Knight Rider. So we have Ecto 1 as well.
Yeah.
So lots of vehicles that's requested.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How about anything from the flying realm? Any planes or choppers or anything that used to be on TV at one point?
Yeah. I mean, it's no secret that I want to help. Not to help. That's a bad word. I want to do a bit of help. I think actually because I saw
it's help. It's help.
I saw the travesty that was the Airwolf project.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we can do a 1/18 scale full, not a 3D print. We can do it. So, but we want to see if we get the license, and obviously,
Mhm.
so let's take it one step at a time.
Well, that's all right, brother. You've already for the next 3 years, you're just lining up my pocketbooks because it'll be sending everything your way. So that's fine. You do a wolf that goes in the air. I think I might be good with that, man. That's very cool, man. Couple of things. Let's talk about the you just glanced over it, but the Ramen armored vehicles, which is your latest pre-order right now.
And,
There's a little video for it too, right, Chet?
and I feel like as a group, we decided that the Ravs needed a little bit better intro than just let's switch over. So, really quick, let's introduce the Ravs. There it is.
Now, I
Thank
will
you.
say one thing. I know Chet was at Joe Fest where you saw him, and just the
Mhm.
pictures that I got of the bridge layer format of that, I was like, wow, this was better and larger than I expected. Because just in my mind, you have a way that even though a 6-inch scale and there's certain vehicles, I think there's people out there asking for classified flags, and you tell people if the original was 7 feet, how big do you think a 6-inch version of one would be?
Yeah.
But the bridge layer is probably one of the largest vehicles I have ever seen done in the 6-inch format. And when I saw it, I was like, this is something that I truly believe that the other company that we will not name would never make. So just by you doing
Never
that,
say never.
well, that's true, but I can't see. I can see them making a tank one day down the future. I can't see them jumping into that though, because I don't think that I think you have to be a true fan of that line in order to want that. Not everyone's that deep into the line, but this was something I knew. I didn't think I was ever going to get. So, why the bridge layer? Out of all, now the Wolverine
Well-
made sense, and the other one made sense. Why the bridge layer?
Well, first of all, I have no idea even what is a Wolverine. So
Yeah, of course.
apologies
Of course.
for. No, I'm serious, right? So I'm not a GI Joe fan.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
apologies for the fans of GI Joe. Oh, I thought Ace is no. I mean, I am really not a student of GI Joe.
Okay.
I've seen GI Joe as a kid, but I never actually bought GI Joe. Seriously.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, for some reason I actually never buy GI Joe. Although I kind of like Snake Eyes, but I never actually bought. I don't recall buying a GI Joe. No,
Yeah.
not
I
at all.
wanted to make you feel more at home. In the realm of our group and myself, I'm not a big GI Joe collector, but there's certain things that just make sense. I've always been like Commander Cobra and Destro and occasional vehicles, but Mr. Storm is
Right.
is a
Right.
big GI Joe.
Well, yeah, and I'll be
So-
GI Joe for all of us. I'm fine.
Yeah. So actually, now that I open up the can of worms, I start to see, there's such thing called the Wolverine, the Mobat, and there's so many more to the
Mhm.
GI Joe lore that I'm
Sure.
discovering every day. So many characters, right? But that's that. So getting back to your question of why the bridge layer.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, the bridge layer was never something that I made up specially for this. The
Yeah.
bridge layer is a personal favorite item of mine that I
Okay.
wanted to replicate as a model. So I talk
Oh.
about Caliber Wings, right?
Mhm,
Caliber
mhm.
Wings is about aircrafts. I
Yes,
had
sir.
initially pitched Caliber tracks to my partners.
Oh.
We actually had a model of the bridge layer, the AVLB,
Mhm.
quoted as a 135 scale diecast model.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been looking at the diecast scene and I've not seen a bridge layer for the tanks,
Yeah.
especially not for 135 scale. So lots
Mhm.
of tanks are available in 172 scale.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're made of plastic. There are some in 132 scale, which is the weight scale from Fossil of Valor. So I was thinking, because all the model kits of tanks are 135 scale. That's the popular scale. So I was thinking of making a line of tracks, a line of armored vehicles to serve this population of collectors of armor, right? But because of just not able to carry out the plan, because what am I going to do after that? It's not going to be a one-trick pony. Caliber Tracks, if it's going to be a brand, needs to have a range of products. But do we have the bandwidth of customers to come and support this line? At the end of the day, we decided to not do it. Okay, and I still have that wanting to do the bridge layer.
Yeah.
And since that again, with interacting with all the customers and collectors on Facebook, on the platforms, and then this all starts coming together when they said, let's do some, why don't you do some vehicles for G.I. Joe? And I said, okay, if you want it, I will do it. And the first thing I had to be done was the bridge layer. Yeah. And then it went back to actually the tanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really quick, want to jump in. There's a lot of people who have a lot of questions for you. It's Chad said, look at this trifecta of awesomeness. Welcome. The two rad hosts, an amazing man who's been redefining what indie toy company can do.
Yes, sir.
1,000% agree on that.
Absolutely.
We do have a question here. Will the bread van be in early bird price at the same time as the Ramen Racer, or the early bird price for the Ramen Racer is for later this year?
Yeah, so I've already mentioned just now that there is an early bird price for the bread car, which is $99.99.
Yes, sir.
The regular price is $135, I think. So that's 30% off is $99.99. Okay, that's the early bird price. For the alpha version, there's also an early bird price. I think it's $125, simply because the whole van has to be painted in that color.
Yes.
So the spray painting, the whole thing adds to the cost versus just injected in color. So if you look at, if I may use the example of Valor versus Vanguard, you will see that the whole car, the whole vehicle is actually injected in color. It's not spray painted. Okay, so that's a very important aspect that collectors need to understand when it comes to costing, because injecting in plastic, the whole color in plastic. Look at your Sky Striker. It's all injected in color. Look at your His tank. It's all injected in color, right? Look at all the Transformers. It's all injected in color. But because that also is the reason for transformation. If you have paints, it's going to chip off when you transform. So there is reasons for doing certain things. So injecting it in color is obviously more economical than to inject it and then spray it. That's why you have expensive die-cast models, because after the die-cast is injected, which is mostly in those zinc silver color, you need to prime it, you need to spray it, and polish it. So that's why die-cast cars and models are much more premium and more expensive than toys.
I've got it. Well, like I said again, it's I understand that little detail in it though goes a long way though, because if you are spray painting and everything, and there's I think the Vanguard's a fantastic looking vehicle and it's great, but also I think when we get things from you, it's a little bit more of there's a personal touch to it that bigger companies don't do, because it's like you look at the fine details of most of the items that are out there. It seems like it's something that, one, it's one of a kind, because you're not going to get where it's something so mass produced that it's not worth it. You feel like, because I know with the Ramen Racer, I feel like I'm in a very exclusive club that has it, and you kind of like, whenever somebody comes over and they see it, you can see it right back there sitting on the shelf. There's always somebody like, yeah, wow, hey, don't worry, another version's coming, but this is mine, man. And so there's always this kind of thing to rib people on. So it's very cool, but it's just the personal touches in your work that I think that's what I appreciate most about them, is that it seems like you just did something directly for the fans,
Yeah,
that's
right.
Go ahead.
The bread van in A-team colors. A-team would be awesome. What else we have? We have John was saying that you should have had 500 to 1,000 ready to go.
Oh God, yes,
That's a lot when you're not sure if someone's buying it or not.
exactly. Now, same thing with the and I understand you're not a Joe fan, so we'll break it down a tad bit. When it comes to, because all the wheels on the Hunter, all the turrets, everything else, that's all working, that's all functional, right?
Yep.
Okay, so like and I was looking, you said they're individual in all of the individual wheels, they all go.
Yep.
So like what's the tooling and everything to make what's the trial and error when you're putting something like that together? Is that like numerous tries, or did you guys kind of nail that from the beginning? Because that looks like that's a lot of work put into that.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly, because we have very capable prototype makers that we work with, and all you needed to do was tell them my criteria. I wanted all the wheels to have individual suspension, and he got to work, and they just did it by manual. And then once the function is correct, we will scan it, put it into the computer, and then refine the shapes, and then that is the basis of the tooling.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, that works itself out. Now, I saw on your live stream, especially from Joe Fest and on back, you're working on your very first just Ramen Toys IP. So this is something that you created, right?
It's something that myself and Riot Press, Patrick, we thought about it, because it all happened with the Silverhawks thing, right? Because we couldn't get the license for Silverhawks. How do I put out a third party for Silverhawk? So I called them Titanium Titans, right? And then because we were not immediately going to put out Titanium Titans, Silverhawks looking characters in the market right after Super 7 is doing all these characters. We're not there to like rub it in or try to do a direct compete. That's not us, right? We people may mistake us for doing that, but no, that's not, because what our action proves is exactly that we're not doing that. If we wanted to go head on, we would have launched our Mademoiselle, right? The steel heart character, which was announced like I think 8 months ago.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
Wow.
It was supposed to be something that was carrying on after our Quicksilver, right? We wanted the fans to know that there's a continuation of the line, and what we had planned was actually Steel Heart and then Copper Kid, because those were not offered. Well, Copper Kid was not offered by Super 7 back then, but now they have it already. But again, we just want to do something that, first of all, again, we like to have the characters there, and then we're going to plan to do it, including even flashback and I think it was hot wings or something, right? Okay, so anyway, so the whole idea of Titanium Titans was supposed to be the third party name for Silverhawks, but we thought that we can do something more. As time go by, the mind gets to rest and digest and see things and process. So we thought to ourselves, right, how about we start our own IP, and then the Titanium Titans is a new group of characters with the Silverhawks as cameo characters in the background. So that was how Patrick and I came up with the idea. I'm not sure how much of IP infringement that will be, but that's the whole idea, because we are actually carrying on from the story, right? The Titanium Titans is after Hawkhaven got deserted after God knows how many years, right? So all these are in comic format. Patrick is into the 50th page of the comic, right? He's hard at work making the storyline, making everything work. So we'll wait for Patrick to finish his work, and then we can announce it. But the whole idea of the Titanium Titans is it is, building on what we know, right? I think we again, not sure about IP infringement, but that's the whole idea that we have, right? We built upon this another continuation of the story.
Got it.
And that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Now, who are some of the characters that are involved? And actually, I think Chet, you throw up something on the screen.
Yeah, Cricket Smile said, "Are you planning on more military figures? I really like the design of the pilots, the
Oh, okay.
aviation, and would love to see others."
Okay. Yeah. So Ace of Aviation is something that we started because, again, back in the earlier days of
Mm-hmm.
us, we're still young. This is our 4th year. I
Mm-hmm.
think on the 3rd year, I started to do the Maverick because a big
Yeah.
Tom Cruise fan, a big
Okay.
Top Gun fan. I mentioned already. I love aircraft. F-14 is everybody's favorite. So there is no such figure in 1/12 scale. We have the Chinese manufacturers do them in like BBI 12" and all these things, but never
Okay.
a 1/12. So I introduced the 1/12. Of course,
Mhm.
we got a C&D for that, and then
Okay.
we quickly evolved to bring
Uh-huh.
in Ace of Aviation into the
Mm-hmm.
fray, right? So Ace of Aviation is just generic,
Sure.
fighter
Sure.
pilots, Navy pilots, right? Navy
Mm-hmm.
pilots, the VF 84 Jolly Rogers, the VF 111 Sundowners, VF
Mm-hmm.
1 Wolfpack. So these are all squadrons I know from my
Mm-hmm.
model building days of building the F-14. Right, so
Okay.
I enjoy that tremendously. So we are going to do more of those definitely for a wave 2, and then
Mm-hmm.
we'll see
Mm-hmm.
is there any gaps from what it's in the
Yeah.
market that we can
Okay.
fill. We don't
Okay.
want to go head on. I'm not going to do another
Exactly.
ghillie suit, right? No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to go and show that I can do a better ghillie suit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's been done. It's been done well. Let's move on and find other gaps that is not done, and
Got
that's
it.
where we're heading towards. Yeah.
Which quick reminder, if you do want to pick those up, they're $69.95 for the wolf pack. You can
Yeah.
get all 3 of them. There, along that same question, Mo Collectible Plastic, would Ramen make any World War I or II type tanks?
Mm.
Wow. Okay. The World War One, I would say no. It's a little bit
Okay.
too
Mm.
ancient for me. World War
Okay.
Two is interesting for me because I enjoyed very much during my modeling days
Mm-hmm.
looking at Verlinden Productions. Verlinden Productions is a Belgium-based model maker,
Okay.
and he makes great dioramas of mostly World War Two stuff. So
Okay.
the
Okay.
Sherman tanks, the Tiger, the Panther, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like also the World War II tanks because it's closer to a person.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually sit on the tank. You can put lots of stuff on the tank,
Mm-hmm.
for diorama purposes. But in
Mm-hmm.
modern tanks, all those are eliminated. You don't have things hanging around. It's
Got
all
it.
very like
Mm-hmm.
stealthy, streamlined, except for perhaps the Makava. Right, the
Mm.
Makava is a tank that is so sexy.
Yeah.
I hope I can do it one day without any again IP infringement. But yeah, so
I
getting back to getting back to the question, World
yeah.
War II is something we can look into if there's
Okay.
enough of a demand. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, no, I definitely love that. I would love to see, like, maybe even some of the warbirds of World War II,
Mhm.
because
Mm.
that would
Smaller.
also look yeah, yeah. I think those would look fantastic as well. So yeah, and I hadn't thought of it. That's a great question that he did bring up right there.
Something,
When,
something real quick that's close to my heart is
yep, that's
a,
what they
one,
asked you.
a 112 scale gold wing. You want to know if that's
Ah. Well, if all the stars fall into place,
yeah,
Mhm.
6 inch
Okay.
maybe?
dreams may come true. Yeah.
Yeah. John says jet. We need a jet. Any thoughts around aircrafts?
Again, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself,
Yeah.
but who knows what tomorrow brings, right?
Hmm.
Am I even here tomorrow? So let me just explain that I have a dream to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Top Gun with
Okay.
a 118 scale F14.
Wow. Wow.
And the 40th anniversary is 2026.
Okay. Oh, so all right, we
be
got
on
Yeah.
some
that'll be on
time.
with the whole
Yeah.
aviations.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That
Awesome.
definitely worked itself out. Go ahead, Chet.
Because 112 scale, it would be just too ginormous. Because again, I'm into accuracy, right? I will not deform the F14. I will make it real size. I may not get all the details 100% for sure. I want to get them maybe 70%, but I want to make sure that the shape of it is correct, the size is correct, and that can be done on 118.
That makes sense.
Do you have a favorite action figure that you've produced?
Oh, currently it's a close fight between the Marshall and the Aces, right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
It's like picking your children. You just can't pick the one. You just got to go neutral with the both of them, right? Yeah, no, the Marshall looks fantastic, man. Did you was that just something out of that you pulled as well, or did you were you a fan of the show, or you know?
I did watch Brave Star as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not every single episode. Again, I'm not so privileged. You know, I caught some here and there. Again, for every single thing that I like, I'm not a real student. I don't know every single thing. I just know bits and pieces of it, right?
That's all you need.
So Brave Star is something that caught my attention as a kid. It was interesting. It wasn't what's the word? I lost it. It was kind of serious for its time, right? It's kind of serious, and I thought that the characters were nice. So again, with our vision of trying to do the third party of things that's not done, for example, Centurions, Brave Star was the obvious choice. So I had the idea, and thankfully, Luke Wickford, who is a great artist, sculptor, designer, was also keen with his idea of Brave Star, his interpretation, right? So I was able to mesh. So I had little work to do, right? I was able to get exactly Luke's vision of what it looks like and just translate it into an action figure. And that's the best thing because fans do the best work, all right? So I am always actively looking for people who already have the best work, and let's translate that into something that the fans will want to buy, you see? For example, he has a great sculpt of Quicksilver, right? That could be translated straight away into a action figure, right? So that's how we roll.
No, I admire it, man. Because when you could do, I think that was the first time that I had really seen, especially with the Aces of Aviation, because I was thinking, I said, I don't think there's been a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible figure, and so when I saw him, I was like, obviously Top Gun. I started thinking, like, boy, that seemed like a niche in the market that people hadn't filled. And I wondered why it took them so long to do it. Because I'm thinking, like, what's going on with Paramount? Why aren't they doing this kind of stuff? So,
Well, that's because Tom Cruise will not license himself as a figure. Never.
Got it.
Never. Yeah.
Man, that's I really do appreciate both of those. Like you said, the Ace of Aviation, and Marshalls. Those are some of my. I think those are probably some of my favorite things you're making right now. And I'm a massive mask collector. So, but the Marshalls and the Ace of Aviation, those are fantastic.
Absolutely. Ace, if you have a major dream project. Like something, if you just, let's say all the cards falling right, you could get the licensing and everything else, and it's just one of those projects that you said that is going to make me the happiest to do. What would that be, man?
I think it's going to be making my Castle Grayskull with a range of Wave 1 and 2 figures of characters.
Okay.
In either 118 or 112.
Wow.
But because I think there's already a sort of a 112, maybe I'll just go for 118 because with 118, I'm able to, give you more of the environment of the world with less taking up of your precious display space.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
imagine a 112 castle with everything. But imagine that again, smaller, figures. In fact, nowadays figures can be done very intricately
Mm-hmm.
and articulated very well for a small scale. In fact, at Wonder Festival just recently, I was very impressed
Mm-hmm.
with the Fist of the North Star
Oh,
action
okay.
figure that's coming up in September. I wanted to buy it then, but the guy told me that it's only available in September. I'll be looking to get it when it's out in September. It is only 3 inches tall and it is
Wow.
freaking articulated. Let me see if I can get you the picture
Okay.
and share it with you guys. Um, hold on here. Yeah, that's just fantastic. So talking about that, so imagine if 118 scale, and you saw what Hire has done with their 118 figures and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely it's possible to do smaller scale, very
Mm-hmm.
articulated, very detailed, and then it sort of feels it scratched the itch. It feels the need for myself, right? It's a
Yeah.
dream project.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yep. So I think it's over here.
We got Kato's Collections. How you doing, sir? Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, there we go.
Ken's Toy says 1/18 is the Lord's scale.
So this is a really small figure, and it's incredibly detailed and articulated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is. Wow,
Yeah,
there's a
that
lot
is
of
that is
detail on
small.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So
I remember that Fist of the North Star is what got me into anime, and I think Vampire Hunter D and everything through in the 80s. So yeah, that was still always one of my favorites. And every time I do see a company, they do a great job with some of those characters, man. They always look fantastic. So that's piqued my curiosity on that one, man. Any surprise announcements that you've got coming up at any time, Ace? Because I know, like I said again, I know we've talked about the bread car popping up, the Ramen Racer. Now the Ramen Racer is more Mad Max-ish, correct?
Ramen
Is it?
Racer, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Razor. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it have? Is it also has a different set of lighting or anything, or is there anything kind of key to the other than the outside aesthetics?
Lighting will be the same
Okay.
because we have actually indented a lot of those modules,
Mm-hmm.
and we can definitely use them again. So
Okay.
lighting is the same. It is the exterior that's different,
Mm-hmm.
the colors that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. When it came to the Tiger Orange, I guess because we're in the U.S. all the time, and I always think that I saw those reruns 100 times, and I think they're still popping on and everything like that. When I noticed that there was a huge reason of is that the reason why you also was because you were able to put in just the first charger in black, but then you said, you know what, I'm going to do these for the extra fans. Was that just a gimme for the people that love to do? Well, I guess we're going to see the hazards. Did you just throw that one in, or did you always have a plan in the beginning that if you're going to do one, you're going to do the other? Okay.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier in the show, it
Mm-hmm.
was something that the fans were asking me to do, and I just thought that this would be a great chance to amortize the tooling on the first release to actually make more to fulfill the MOQ.
Okay.
So that was the whole idea. I again no idea what was generally.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And that to me on the front seems almost a little scary, just to do something that I hadn't seen, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna produce this for the fans and everything. So that goes to show you what kind of courage that you have, because no matter what kind of research you do on it, there's always something or someone down the line is a little picky about it. You can never satisfy everybody.
Yeah, it was a very controversial item in hindsight, right? As we started making it, with lots of comments about how could you do this? It's a travesty and all these things. But wait a minute, there's clearly enough people that want it. That means it's not that bad, isn't it?
it's a TV show. It's like
Yes, TV show, exactly. There's no meaning. There's no agenda. There's no, there's no hidden meaning. We're not pushing any agenda. It is a replica of a prop in the TV show.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I looked at it. I thought it was fantastic. It was something that I saw in real life. I was like, man, that was like my childhood.
It was
Knight Rider, like all of that stuff is just like, that's fantastic. It's really well done. I wanna move over real quick because I do.
Hold on. I just want to touch on that topic about your childhood. I think what's important for us to remember is that as much as the word nostalgia might be overused,
yes,
if you look at it another way, life is about memories.
Yes,
we can't say that enough of the nostalgia stuff. But once you ignore that, once you ignore the memories, then what are you left with? Right? Every single memory that you have is a nostalgia, not specifically to a nostalgia for a toy, but it's nostalgia nonetheless because it's a memory. Now, unless you're telling me that memories don't matter, let's live in the now. Let's look at the technology now. Let's bask in the now. Forget about that. Then, for me, it doesn't work because I believe that the whole essence of living a life is having the memories, right?
True.
And having the memories helps us to carry on to make new memories. And that's it. Just a bit of a rant.
Well said, man. Well said. Chet's pulling up. We did a little diagram right here so everybody can kind of see what's the offering that you've got right now that's on ramentoy.com. Some of this now I was shocked when you did, because I know it's always about tooling. How can you make the most? The blast effects on the and I'm going to pronounce the name completely wrong, so I'm just going to say the black tank.
Emphas Bina.
FS Bina, there you go.
Emphas Bina, that's right.
That is the one I have on pre-order.
It's a two-headed snake.
Okay.
I remember seeing this one live, and I was like, that has to be on the desk.
The blast effects has really caught me about this one. It's like, because it's just like, it looks like it's a new age tank. Now I know what you said from dealing with some of your earlier days and everything, that you're into these kind of tanks and everything. I just love the blast effect on this. I thought it's a futuristic setting and taking it, and it's not like I'm getting the same exact product, just a different color. It adds something else into a little extra, and I really love that about what you did here, Ace.
Yes. Again, we took into consideration, comments from the community. Some people wanted, enough of the real world tanks. Give me something futuristic. Give me something like Metal Gear and all these. Okay, then I said to our sculptor Julian, let's do something futuristic, right? We have the modern ones, which is what I love, right? Then let's do something futuristic, something like alienish, like the Colonial Marine sort of thing. So he came up with this design. Again, I'm not sure where he drew inspiration from, but I believe that it is his design. And instead of having the projectiles that is on the Hunter normal rounds, this guy is firing plasma cannons. So the bad guys are always more advanced.
Yeah, true. Here's a question I have for you. When we look at the bridge layer, does that work with the Amphisbane?
So currently, because of the color, it will not work. It will work, but it will be like a saw eye. Why is a black hull having a green bridge, right? But again, we have plans in store, which I will announce later, so that you can actually have a black bridge layer if you want to. So that's for later. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's a little bit of a scoop that we just got. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got Rad asked a question, which is actually probably interesting on our mind. He says, we need a Magnum PI 1977 Ferrari 308 GTS.
and it's going with the life-size mustache of Tom Selleck.
So
No comments there.
that's keeping in mind. Look, I'm pretty sure, Ace, that almost on a daily basis, you probably get 100 suggestions by 100 different people, or maybe even 1,000 people about what you should be making and can you do this down the line and everything. So I'm sure you've got a stockpile of stuff that you could just go to
Yep.
just from them. One thing I wanted to tell people, and just also because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but they should. The thing that I truly admire about what you do is that I've noticed if it's on an Instagram DM or like even in the stories, you're commenting on that. If it's on Facebook, you're commenting on that. It's like most companies, some of the bigger companies, they're not commenting back. And it seems like, if you need a question answered, you're not going to go through a third or fourth or fifth person. Ace is going to answer that. Is that important to you to make sure that when you're dealing with all the potential buyers and everything, that they get that form of personal touch? Is that something that you just developed, or is that just something that is out of you just decided early on, this is what I'm going to do? Because I don't get accessibility. I want to make sure everyone else gets accessibility.
Well, it's not about me getting accessibility. It's about, I think, if I'm using the platform of social media, and when customers have questions, then it's only right to answer the question, right? And as much as I want to answer every question, I do apologize that I don't get to every single one of them. That's a fact. I do skip certain questions and comments, not because I don't want to answer them, but sometimes I think there's no need to answer those questions, and then sometimes I feel a need to answer certain questions, and then sometimes some questions I don't have the answer right away, so I need to think about it, and sometimes I do miss coming back to it because there's so many comments. But again, I think the whole idea, if I'm using this platform, if I'm not answering anything, then what's the point of actually having this platform? Right.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. It works to the advantage, and then sometimes it gets overwhelming. All right. And because most of the time words does not convey your true meaning and expression and tone. So sometimes what is written do get miscommunicated, misconstrued, and we try to avoid that at all costs, which is why I do my best to try to clarify what do you mean, right? And try to make a point to correct any miscommunication, to right a wrong, so to speak. So that's where I come into. Again, I don't have the most tactful way, most diplomatic way of expressing myself, but it's always going to be 100% me. It's going to be without the smokes and mirrors. It's going to be exactly what I'm trying to convey to you, to help you understand, right? If you have a query, I'm trying to help you understand if there is a problem that you have, or if there's a question that you don't understand about our products. I'm trying to help you to understand what it is.
Yeah.
Even if, for example, it is on our fault because we have certain restrictions of lack of resources and etc. etc. Again, not excuses, but trying to explain to see if you can take it as to be empathetic to what we're dealing with. Of course, I'm always trying to look on both sides of the coin, and I'm always trying to say that, okay, yes, to another person, these are excuses. Don't give me excuses, just give me my product, right? Yes, I understand. So for those people, we'll have to double up. And again, it's the 80-20 rule. You spend 80% of your time dealing with 20% of the people.
Exactly.
So
yes, sir.
But that's just the way it is. That's just the, at the start, if you go to a Starbucks, there will be the guy who wants the coffee extra hot with enough cream, just like that. And, so you have to serve the guy, right? But of course, if he's making unreasonable demands, then you also have the right to tell, sir, this cannot happen. We cannot serve you. You're right?
Sure.
Because everything has a place. There is nobody who's above anything. We're all equal. We don't try to go above anybody. And if we can have that respect, the world will be a better place.
Well, I can tell you one of the main things is that, you do answer it back. And that's, look, as a toy collector myself, the frustration is when something is constantly delayed and some of the bigger companies don't say anything until the fans have such a bad outrage to it. And then they do. With you, it's clear cut, and you're always trying to make sure that people do have a clear understanding. And I wish that was something that some of the major companies would do, to take the time and say that we respect the people that are buying the products. And I think you do that better than, I would say, we won't name names here, but you do it better than, I say, the 80-20 rule. You're doing the 20, and 80's not doing what they need to start doing, man. So really do appreciate that scenario on it. One last question, I think, because again, I know you're a busy man. We love that you took the time. It's a treat to have you in. Flipor. How did you get involved with Flipor, man?
Well, again, I am following YouTube, maybe a bit too much. I don't know. So I saw the Mad Hatter talking about missing out on Wanda, right? And he drew up this character that he had on sketch they were sharing on his video. And immediately I saw this as a product, right? I saw it as a product, and I was straight away telling, Mega J, could you get me in touch with the Mad Hatter, because I think I can help him to bring this thing into fruition. That's it. That was simple. I actually coerced the Hatter to make it into a figure, because all he had was a sketch, right? But I saw the potential of this thing, and it is what it is today. Yep.
Yeah. Did it shock you how well that was received? Or did you always have from the point, like, I knew this was going to be this big?
I knew it was going to fund, but I did not know it was going to exceed the funding by 100%. So yeah, all I wanted was to get the figure out, right? All I wanted was to get this figure out at the minimum quantity, so that at least there's a legacy that Hatter has with this thing. It's a good parody, it's a good fun. That was the whole idea. Now it is going into evolution, and it might become more than that. It could become a comic book, it could become a series, it could become a thing for future.
Yeah.
That's true. Titanium Titans. When do you think you're going to be when's the comic, or I think it's a web comic in the beginning, when is that starting to drop? And then 2 is when do you think wave 1 of the figures will be coming out?
Let me look at the notes, because I had this with Patrick.
No worries.
Let's see. I need to get the notes. Hold on. Okay.
While he's doing that,
it's the webtoon is going to be a target for middle September. Right? The online comic will be that. First wave would be 5 figures with a stretch goal for a 6th lady figure. The launch date, we're looking at next year, maybe in the early second quarter.
Okay,
and is that all the questions? Yep.
No, just want to make sure. Well, most definitely, Ace. Look, again, we know you're busy. We know you're producing great toys, and when you take the time out, that's absolutely wonderful. When the Titanium Titans comes out in quarter number 2 next year, we'll have you back on, and you can show us.
Quarter 2, we start the Kickstarter. Sorry, we start the Kickstarter
for the Kickstarter. Okay, when the Kickstarter comes on.
Yeah.
We'll have you. We'll see if we can line up and have you back on, and so we can actually get and have your original IP out there. But I'm going to be looking out for the comic. As we're winding in our time and everything, any last things that you just want to get out into the air, Ace, or did you get everything off your chest that you needed to?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I am actually after this stream, I'll be on my way to the airport for a flight to Bangkok, where there's going to be a Wonder Festival event this coming weekend. So that's something that I'm going to do. And then once I get back, I hope that I will be able to be on a little vacation in the middle of August. That's my birthday time. So trying to get a little time off. And then once we get to the end of August, we'll be able to release the brake vans pre-orders, right? So we already have it tooled. It's all into its final adjustments. We are now ready to sell it, meaning that once we get the pre-orders out, we can ship as soon as January of next year. So we're looking at end of August for orders, right? So a good 1 month of pre-orders in September, and we're looking at October, November, December, January. So just 4 months, and we'll deliver the brake car, and then you can check back to see if we meet our target.
I think you're going to meet it, brother. Like I said, I think you guys do great work and everything. I just like to say, Ace, thanks for coming on, man. I know that, again, we appreciate the time, and anytime you want, you got an open invitation. Anytime you want to pop on, just pop on with us, brother.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Alex and Chet.
Anything else, Chet?
No, I appreciate you coming back on. It's great to see you again. I was excited about our picture we got, but I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing for the community, understanding it. I know there was a lot of talk about not really being a student of these things, but the reality is everyone's a student of everything. It's just how much knowledge you keep in it. And so I think what Ramen Toys is doing as a whole is really pushing the level of the bigger brands that don't have struggles that smaller brands have. And when you see some group of people come together like Ramen Toys and produce something like the Ramen Racer, and the quality, the build, the demand for it, right? It's sold out on your website, and there's still people that are like, how do I get it? How do I grab that? I think that's a big testament. In we talked a little bit about how you can't get all of it, but you get some of it, and you have goals. And I think, look, in my humbled opinion, which is the only time I'll ever use that word, my humble opinion is I think Ramen Toys is a great success. I'm excited every time I see news that comes out with Ramen Toys and a lot of these independent toy manufacturers, but just keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it. I know that the toy community appreciates it. And it, besides that, you're also fun to hang out with. So,
absolutely, brother.
I appreciate it. If you can, would love for you to hang on as we end this, just for maybe like 5 minutes after we stop. But everyone that has tuned in, we appreciate you. This is Toybox Chronicles. You've watched episode 26 with Ace. So mark it down in your books and come back for reference, because there was a lot of questions answered. But until next time, we appreciate you. Subscribe, like, follow both channels, everybody here. And be on the lookout for ramentoy.com for the pre-orders. Again, $150. You can pre-order everything now. And just remember, because when it ships, it's a lot more money than that. So just go get all your pre-orders in. And until next time, we will catch you on Toybox Chronicles. Thanks again, Ace.